While most exit pollsters predicted the return of the Bharatiya Janata Party to Delhi after 27 years in 2025, Telangana-based KK surveys and strategies bucked the trend. KK forecast was that the Aam Aadmi Party would return to power in its exit poll. It circulated its seat share predictions without any vote share numbers in a PDF with the company's founder KK's face printed as a stamp of confidence. However, the pollster's methodology was unconventional. A KK Surveys and Strategy spokesperson said that their success mantra was that they don't necessarily believe in a sample size. Additionally, this data wasn't limited to the polling day but was collected over 2 months, December and January, leading up to the assembly election on 5th of February this year. From former journalists to engineers, lawyers, MBA graduates, and corporate trainers, exit pollsters in India are a mixed bag of professionals who step into the limelight in the hours before parliamentary and state assembly election results are announced. But exit pollsters operate in a legal grey area with few guidelines on disclosing sample sizes and the methodology used to support their predictions. While experts advocate for these polls to be used as research tools to interpret the final mandate, exit polls have transformed into media spectacles. In this exclusive investigative report, we looked at the murky space in which most exit pollsters work in India, with little transparency about methodology, sample sizes, and funding. And in addition to this, little regulation and political ties leave their credibility in doubt. But before I move on to telling you more about my investigation, I have a small appeal to make to all of you to take a subscription for ThePrint. At ThePrint, we believe in non-hyphenated, quality, fair and questioning journalism, and for this, to continue doing this, we need your support. So I would request all of you to take a subscription for ThePrint. There's a host of benefits for our subscribers as well. You can see the process for taking the subscription on your screens right now, and we'd also be adding all the links, all the necessary links on the procedure as well as the benefits in the description of this video. Now, let me tell you a little bit about how we went about doing this investigative report. We looked at 10 companies that released exit poll numbers before the Delhi Assembly election results. What emerged was a similar story. Many pollsters who released their predictions after the Delhi Assembly elections did not have an online presence. Without a website or a social media page explaining the origin of these companies, there was little to back the credibility of their numbers and surveys. Now, TV channels widely quoted these companies for their exit poll numbers after the voting for the Delhi Assembly elections concluded. However, none of these news agencies mentioned their sketchy sample size, which ranged from 1,000 to 3 lakhs, or their methodology or funding. These companies refused to share their raw data with ThePrint. The industry currently is cluttered with pollsters mushrooming by the minute, with new names cropping up with each election cycle. But they raise more questions than answers about their survey methodology, expertise, and funding disclosures. Some don't believe in sample size, others work with parties and even conduct their surveys before the polls. Now, in this video, I'm going to take you through the companies that released their exit poll numbers after the Delhi elections polling day. One such organization is Journo Mirror, run by Muhammad Ali and Shahid Ansari, who met during their master's program at the Delhi School of Journalism. The Delhi-based Journo Mirror predicted 45 to 48 seats for AAP and 18 to 20 seats for the BJP. Their sample size was just 1,000 people, surveyed by a team of around 10 reporters and students. Mindbrink Media was one of the few agencies that predicted the likelihood of the AAP returning to power in Delhi. You can see the predictions of all these companies on your screens as we discuss them. Now, the company Mindbrink Media does not have a social media footprint, but according to Zoba Corp, which is a corporate database, the company was incorporated in 2019 and lists 2 directors, one of whom is Navneet Kumar. Now, Kumar, who worked with ETG Research in the past, confirmed he was associated with Mindbrink but refused to respond to any queries on the organization or its poll methodology. Now, before I move on to the next few agencies, let me tell you a bit about the funding funda behind these polls. Media houses often commission exit polls, collaborating with agencies that conduct them. However, for pollsters and the agencies, election surveys usually aren't their sole source of income. For instance, Yashwant Deshmukh, who's the founder director of C Voter, says that election and exit polls don't even account for 10% of the firm's work. The organization conducts socio-economic research like any other market research or social research company. A veteran TV journalist also told ThePrint that several pollsters work for political parties and they pass on the data at the end of the polling to news channels for public visibility. However, unlike Western democracies, these associations between pollsters and political parties remain undisclosed in India. This is what the TV journalist said on the condition of anonymity. Now let's look at another company, which is CNX. It's a Noida-based AI-powered public opinion survey company. You can see its predictions on your screen. Its co-founder Bhavesh Jha told ThePrint that while the company doesn't work directly with political parties, it was commissioned by an election strategist or a consultant to track the Delhi election campaign, which is a process that typically starts 3 to 4 months in advance. According to Jha, CNX's Delhi exit poll predictions were based on a refined sample size of 21,000 with 300 samples collected from each assembly constituency. Then there's the Hyderabad-based SAS group or Shri Atma Sakshi group, which also released an exit poll on the Delhi elections, but it has again no website or social media presence. Registered last year, Shri Atma Sakshi Data Management Services Private Limited. The company was founded by 8 IITians, including Murthy BV. Murthy told ThePrint that the company's Delhi exit polls was funded by political parties and political leaders who approached the group to conduct surveys in a few of the seats. The money received through those surveys then helped fund the entire exercise. Another company called Poll Diary also released its predictions for the Delhi Assembly elections. It only has an X account that says, "We cover every poll on the earth." An archived version of its now inactive website listed Abhijit Brahmanathkar as the company's editor. Brahmanathkar, who was a journalist for 15 years before he switched to psephology, told ThePrint that he established the company in 2018. He claimed that Delhi elections exit poll was based on a sample size of 24,000 collected mostly through on-ground surveys by around 250 to 300 people. And Brahmanathkar isn't the only journalist who has taken to psephology. Manoj Kumar Singh was a journalist for 23 years before he started his own company, Matriz News Communications, in 2016. Matriz also made its predictions for the Delhi election results, claiming that it had a sample size of 37,000. For a few other pollsters in the industry, these surveys represented deep interest in the politics of the country. Their polling agencies therefore seem like passion projects. One such company is People's Insight, which registered last year, months before the 2024 general elections. The founders are 2 cousins, Sandeep Gupta and Nikhil Gupta. They claim that their sample size for the Delhi elections was a whopping over 8 lakh samples, which included the exit poll sample of over 3 lakhs, so 3.1 lakhs. They also made their predictions for the Delhi Assembly elections, and you can see the predictions on your screen. The brothers are already established businessmen running software companies, but Sandeep Gupta told ThePrint that he was always interested in politics, so this is more of a passion for them. Another organization that sees polling as passion project is People's Pulse, which collaborated with another company called Codemo and predicted the most seats for the BJP at 51 to 60. Its website doesn't list the names of the founders or the team members. Ravi Chand, who's the founder of People's Pulse, told ThePrint that polling isn't the bread and butter for him, who has a law degree, and his colleagues at People's Pulse. The organization is registered as a society and its members belong to professions such as law and journalism. Another company that operates at the intersection of polling and strategy is VPreside. The Pune-based company also made its predictions for the Delhi Assembly elections. VPreside's founder Sujit told ThePrint that his company has been acting as a third-party research agency to give vote share numbers to other organizations that are commissioned by news channels for exit polls. Now, what emerges from this investigation is that despite their prominence during elections, exit polls and exit pollsters in India remain largely unregulated. Former Chief Election Commissioner S.Y. Qureshi told ThePrint that the Representation of the People Act 1951 was amended in 2009 because a few MPs came to the Election Commission protesting against opinion polls and exit polls. Section 126A was then added to the 1951 law through an amendment. It places restrictions on exit polls and asserts that nobody, you can see the text on your screens also, that nobody can conduct an exit poll or publish or publicize the result of any exit poll during such period as may be notified by the Election Commission. Section 126A was added to the 1951 law through the amendment. Additionally, the Press Council of India also lays down brief guidelines on such polling. The guidelines, which date back to 1996, suggests that newspapers publishing pre-poll surveys should conspicuously disclose the institutions that have carried out the survey, the individuals and the organizations that commissioned the surveys, the size and nature of the sample, the method of sample selection, the possible margin of error. However, while these suggestions pertain to pre-poll surveys, the guidelines mention little about exit polls. They only say that in event of staggered poll dates or elections being conducted in phases, the media shouldn't publish exit poll surveys till the last poll is held. This, it says, is to ensure that the electoral process is kept pure and the voters' minds are not influenced by any external factors. So while the polling industry is expanding, the track record of exit pollsters has been inconsistent. Even the best in the business have got their predictions wrong in the past. So take last year's Haryana Assembly elections, when the BJP registered a third consecutive win in the state. Almost all exit pollsters predicted a clear majority for the Congress. However, experts say that the bigger worry remains the lack of transparency in data and methodology used to arrive at the numbers that pollsters share. Citing this non-transparency, Qureshi calls for regulation of exit polls, and he suggests a regulatory body similar to the News Broadcasters and Digital Association, or the NBDA, which was formerly known as the News Broadcasters Association. A few pollsters have even stopped sharing exit poll numbers. Deshmukh, who I had quoted earlier, said that C voters stopped participating in exit polls soon after last year's parliamentary elections. He said that the Election Commission would anyway reveal who is going to get how many seats within 24 hours, but he encourages using that data to understand why the results were the way they were and explain the mandate. For more on exit pollsters, read my exclusive investigation into them. I'm adding a link to the article in the description of this video as well. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Do subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook.